Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a quick craft with me. This is not my idea. I watched a video over on done by Gi Kerr. She is Gi Kerr on YouTube, and she's Happiness and Crafting over on Etsy. She has some beautiful, beautiful digitals. I have quite a bit of her digital work, but she did what she called paperclip pocket tags. So that's what we're going to make today. When she did them, I did them. This is a couple of my samples that I did, and I like to make my paperclip completely hidden. And by making them hidden, just means I cover the back of them basically, just to make them look a little bit better. She did not do that, but I chose to do that. I did do a bunch of these off camera just to kind of build up my stash of these because I think they're awesome. I have not decorated these, but these are some of them that I did. This one I'll put in the blue journal for my sister. I decided to call it For the Love of Blue, and that's going to be the name of the journal. And then this one's printed on a little bit lighter paper. This is 65-pound paper, and this I think is 32. Actually feels pretty darn good. I might go back to the 32 for some things. And this one. And this one I did a little bit bigger. I believe this one was, I'll show you, we'll make a couple big ones too, but I made this one, I think this was 9.5 inches this way. I can't remember the height, 8 and something, 8 1/4 I think. So it's got a little bit of a taller top on it. So I wanted to show you these because you can make these your own. You can tailor them to the size that you want. You just have to kind of be thinking about proportion is the word I'm looking for, proportion, in terms of, you know, height and width and that kind of thing. So mine ended up being fairly wide. This one is actually, you put the ruler the right way, 4 3/4 ish by 8 1/4. So this is a little bit big. And that being said, if this was too big, you decided it was too big, you could always just chop some off the bottom and re-glue it and you'd be fine. So these are some of them that I made. So I'm gonna try to make 4 with you on camera. 2 of them for the blue journal, for the Love of Blue journal. I love this paper. I thought it would be fun to introduce into the journal, and I love this one as well. So we're going to make 2 for that journal. But before we go on, I want to talk with you about our subscriber count. So as of today, we are at 1,901 subscribers. So we are like literally right around the corner for 2,000 subscribers, which the channel's been growing about 100 subscribers a month. And so it is not going to take long at all for us to get there. So I thought I would talk a minute about what I'm going to do for the giveaway. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. I had toyed with the idea of making the mixed media fairy journal and doing that as a giveaway. But in my heart of hearts, I don't think I can make a fairy journal that's that elaborate. It would probably be the most elaborate journal I have ever made. And I just can't see myself giving it away. So I'm so sorry if I got anybody hyped up on that. I'm not opposed to making a fairy journal and having that be a giveaway at another point in time, but I won't be able to do that with the mixed media one. So it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be really intense. So I'm going to make a fall journal. And the reason why I chose the fall journal was because fall, I don't do a lot of fall art. Fall is the hardest season of the year for me for personal reasons, and so I thought it would be good for me, it would be healthy for me to kind of push into that and sit with that and create in that space and kind of try to reframe my thinking around fall and what it means to me and what it doesn't mean to me, and kind of try to tweak my thinking a little bit and bring a little bit more healing to my heart. So this is the kit I've chosen. It's from the Journal Boat. It's called Autumn Garden Kit. So I'm just going to flip through it really quick here. Let me move this just a little bit closer while we're looking here. So we've got some beautiful ephemera here. Gorgeous ephemera. I love this house here. That looks like it's on the lake. And then we've got some beautiful pockets and tags. I just love the I think what I love most about it is the watercolor. This is definitely watercolor. I recognize it. And so I love that look, and so I think it's really going to be beautiful to work on. I love the tones. They're very not typical for you to see in a kit, at least not that I've seen. I know some folks are doing this kind of pink orangish blush color in their digitals, but this one just, for some reason, just really struck home with me, and it felt like something I could create with. I love the butterfly. So we got a pocket, journal card, and then like a label. Some more ephemera here, and then we're getting into the journal pages. So I'm going to make 2 of the Paperclip pocket tags with 2 pages from the kit as well. So so we've got that one, and we've got, these are very similar, aren't they? This one might be a pretty one to do a pocket out of. Maybe we'll set that one aside and as one to choose from. And then we've got this one, and this is absolutely gorgeous. This wouldn't be very good for the paperclip thing though, because it's too, yeah, I don't like that one either. What about this one? This one would be really pretty. I think I'll do this one as well. This image is a little bit big, too big for me for that kind of a project, that size. I think this is my favorite page of all. In fact, I'm going to do that one instead. I love that. Look at that. Oh, it's so, oh, this is really cool though too. It would be cool to do a neutral one. Maybe we'll do the neutral one. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. So that's, a fall journal is going to be the grand prize. It will be a 3-signature journal, probably a 3-signature journal measuring 6 inches by 9 inches. It will have a 3-inch spine because I allow 1 inch for every signature, and it will also have some kind of an insert in there to kind of some added, you know, envelope folios or something like that. So I'm giving myself though to the end of October to finish this because again, it's a challenging project for me and a challenging season for me. So I want to make sure that I'm practicing really good self-care at the same time as providing you all with a great opportunity to win a fall journal or an autumn journal. I'll probably call it an autumn journal. So there is that. Then there will be a second prize. I always do 3 prizes. I do first, which is the grand prize. The second prize will probably be maybe the Altoid tin mini journal. That is the Cottage Charm journal that you will have been seeing on the channel. I'm thinking about giving that away as the second prize, and then the third prize will be I've got tons of stuff. I've got envelope journals, I've got waterfall journals that are just sitting in a basket just waiting for a home. So I'll select from those, and I always toss in extra ephemera with my giveaways as well. So but more details to follow about how the giveaway will work and all of that. So let's get going. Enough yakety yakking. So I'm going to move the scoreboard for a second because I realized I did not trim off all of my edges. So let me do that really quick and I will come right back with you. Okay, those look to be good. Let me just get rid of these scraps. And let's talk about the construction. So how about we start with one of the blue ones? I'm going to do the regular size. So basically what I mean by regular is when Gi Kerr did it, she started with a 6 1/4 by 6 inch square-ish. So it obviously is not a complete square, a full square because it's 6 by 6 1/4. So I'm just going to pull my cutter over here. And this might be a little bit weird because I don't think that's not wide enough to not meet that corner, but it's going to be okay because it's going to fold like this, and this is going to be the front, so that's just going to wrap around the back, which is going to be fine. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm turning it upside down so I can get my 6 1/4 inch mark here. So I'm 6 and oh goodness, you can't even see that. Sorry guys. Oh, I need to move the camera back up. I'm like, why is my area so small? There we go. That's better. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that 6 1/4. Scooch that over a little bit. Okay, and then you want to save this piece because you're going to probably need it. And I will explain that here in a second. And then we want the other side, so that is 6 1/4, and then we want this to be 6 inches. So I'm turning it because I want this to be my front, so that when it folds it's going to be like that. So I'm going to turn this over, so I'm cutting off of this end. So, and this one needs to be 6 inches. So I'm just going to turn that off as well. This will probably be good for the extra piece, which will make sense in a second. So that is that. So we're going to bring the scoreboard over because we're going to have to do some scoring. So again, this is 6 1/4. Why does it look different on here? Oh, there, because it hit the lip. So 6 1/4. So we're going to come in 1/4 of an inch and score at the 6-inch line. And if you've watched my videos at all, scoreboards and me are not friends, but I'm going to give it a try. So we're going to score at the 1/4-inch line. And then we're going to score at the 3-inch line, because we know that once we take off that 1/4 inch, we're dealing with 6 inches here. So we want that to be even folded in half at the right mark. So 3 inches. And forgive my lack of good speaking right now. It's a work night and I've not been well, so not feeling great. So there is that. So now we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to fold that over, and we'll crease it all really well with the bone folder here in a moment. And then we're going to fold this, okay, like so. And for some reason I've been having a little bit of a hangover on this edge when in my prototypes too, so just trim it off. I wouldn't worry too much about it. So yeah, so we've got that and that. I like to ink this edge because we are going to do another score line right here, because we want to take off just about 3/4 of an inch off the top of this, but only to the score line, and it just makes it easier to see the score line if we do that. So I'm just going to give this a good crease here, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink that, just this edge here. I'm just going to ink the whole edge because it's all going to be inked eventually anyway. And I'm going to pull the scoreboard back over, and we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Hopefully I can figure this out, because I don't like this at all. I don't like scoreboards at this point. So maybe if I turn it this way, I have to open up that lip that we folded over, because we want to make sure we get that scored too. So I'm going to just tuck this up over to this side and do my score line here. And the dimensions on this part are just personal preference, really, because it's basically creating this pocket area so that you have your tag shape but your pocket. So that's the part that we're cutting off here to make that pocket. So now we're going to go ahead and trim off that edge. So just reaching for my scissors, and I'm going to cut on the inside of the score line, because it creates kind of that fatter line, and I like to just go on the outside of both of those lines. So I hope you guys can see that. And then on the outside of this one as well, like so. And then we've got that, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a thumb notch. And I also am not going to decorate these on camera. I will decorate all of these pieces, even the ones I made off camera for my prototypes, and I'll show you them all in the photos at the end. So we can set the scoreboard aside momentarily. I just put the chair on my foot, so I'm trying not to scream. Yow! Goodness gracious. So that's that. So the way that, and that is not even, oh my goodness gracious. Look at that. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Oh well. It is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this really quick. Be right back. We don't need to ink that. Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe I got so off on that. I think it's because I was looking at that edge. Oh, yikesies. That's all right. Mistakes happen, right? Don't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to cut that, and then I'm going to use that piece, that little trick, go back over here to this side and cut my other corner. And it's so tricky on this corner for some reason. I'm just going to make a pencil mark because I have a hard time getting the scissors to go that direction. So I'm just going to mark that. It's okay. Do whatever works for you. I'm going to angle that just a little bit to the inside of that pencil line because it's hard to get in there. There we go. It looks very off though. What can you do but laugh? We have to laugh, right? So the next thing we're going to do is do our paper clip. And, oh, let me erase that pencil line. Well, we're not going to see it anyway, but you will see in a moment. So now we're going to grab a paper clip. I'm going to use a big paper clip right here. So, oh, that's not a very good one. Let me get one that's not quite so distorted, if I can. Yeah, that one's better. So what's going to happen is we're going to put a paper clip on the top here. But in order to hide it, we are going to put a piece of paper from here down below the paper clip. So that's what these extra pieces are for. So I'm hoping that we can just use one of these. It's not going to matter what we use. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. I don't think it needs to be that long, so I'm going to cut a little bit off. And then we'll just throw this in the scrap bin. Beautiful paper. Oh, it's almost too short, Cara-Renee. Almost too short. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on, and then I can trim it up in a moment. Got my Fabri-Tac here, so I'm just going to put that right, well, we know that it's right below the paper clip. So I'm using Fabri-Tac. You can use whatever your glue of choice is. I just like this because it's very wet, and I know it's going to hold this paper clip very well because I've used it for similar projects. So I'm just going to run that last bead there, and then I'm just going to put extra around the paper clip there, and then we're going to go ahead and put this paper on, and just going to put it like here. It doesn't matter, like so. You just want to kind of mind that fold there, that we don't get that we don't affect that opening and closing. So I'm just lining that up at the top. Just going to give that a good press. Whoops. Just moved it. Looks good. And I'm going to gently cut this. You probably would want to wait, but I'm not going to wait. Just going to go ahead and trim that off. You're not going to see this paper on the inside at all, so it's just there to hide the paper clip, basically. And I'm apparently directionally challenged. There we go. Okay. So now let's go ahead and ink this up just so I don't forget, because that does happen. I should have inked it before I put the paper clip in because I can't get now around that paper clip very easily, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So there is our first pocket. That is crooked. And then what I like to do is I like to disguise the back of the paper clip as well. So we're going to use this other strip, and we're going to cover this paper clip. So I like to leave them sticking out a little bit because you can put a piece of sari silk or seam binding or something there. I think this piece is a little bit too small because I want it to actually cover completely. So let's grab a piece of this. I'm going to grab this edge because the other edge is pretty. I want to make sure I can use it for something else. This is way too big, but I just want to show you the technique. Essentially here is that I'm going to grab my cutter because I want that line to be straight. Like so. And what you do is you basically take this paper and you're going to wrap it around. So I'm going to stick it under here like so, and I'm going to have about that much sticking out on this side of the paper clip, about the width of the paper clip itself. And then I'm going to fold that over. And again, I'm working on 65-pound paper, so it is a little bit trickier because it's harder to bend. And then you're just going to bend this one up just to that line, just to make that crease, kind of using my finger to make the crease. And I'm going to take this off of the paper clip, and then I'm just going to cut about 1/4 of an inch past that fold line. You can see that. sticky scissors here. And then fold that over. And then what we're going to do is I like to ink this up. I like the inked look. So just like the rest of the pocket, like so. And I'm not too concerned about the back because it's not going to show. So then you're going to just put a bead of glue. Open up my white glue here. And we're going to glue this edge here, like so. Paper towel. What did you do with a paper towel, Cara-Renee? There it is. Okay. And then we're going to slide that back on the paper clip with the seam. This is the seam side, so I'm going to turn the seam over and I'm going to slide it onto the paper clip. And you do have to be careful because that Fabri-Tac is not dry. So we want to make sure we don't move that paper clip. So you could totally wait to slide that back on. But then when you look on the back side, and you could actually put a word on here, a little bit of lace or something, which is probably what I'll do when I actually use it. This is terribly crooked though. The other one will be better. So now what you're going to do is you're going to glue this edge and then across the bottom. So let's do that. And then just across this little tabby bit. And this folded over part just gives you bigger, more pocket space that's not taken up by glue. So, because often when you just glue something straight down, you lose some of the landscape of your pocket because of the glue line. So there is that. So that is our first pocket. So what I would do is put some sari silk on here or some seam binding, and then you make a journal card or tag to go in there, probably more than one technically. Do a little bit of decoration on the front, which I probably will do, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and do one from for the fall journal, the autumn journal, and then I'll probably speed up the video. Well, I'll probably speed up the video on this one and then go back to the other ones and show you how to make a bigger one. So this one is just gorgeous too. Oh my gosh, this image is just beautiful. So I'm going to grab my cutter and get her back over here as well. And we're going to cut this down again to 6 1/4. So I'm going to turn it because I want this image. I mean, the bird is okay, but the way the side that is on the paper won't work for the way that I'm making it. So I'm going to turn that over and use this image. So I want 6 1/4. Actually, let's make this one be the one that's bigger. So let's see how far out we can go. If we go 8 inches, that's going to be a 4-inch pocket. If we go 9 1/4, 9 1/4 by 9. How about we do that? Let's do it. 9 1/4 by 9. Why not? We'll just show a bigger one now. So that's 9 1/4. And then this direction needs to be 9 because it's a 1/4 inch. Uh-oh. Cara-Renee did not think that through. So we're not going to be able to do, because we have to, it has to be, so this is 8. So we can't do that. So 8, so it would have to be 8 1/4. Oh my goodness gracious. That's okay though. We don't know until we try. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm all turned around. So that's 8. So yeah, so the width needs to be 8 1/4. The width is a 1/4 inch bigger. So I'm going to do that. Sorry guys. I thought I was so brilliant there for just a moment. A moment of brilliance. Okay. So now we've got this over here, and we're going to go ahead again and we're going to do a 1/4 inch mark. So yeah, we're 1/4 inch right there. So I'm just going to do my score line here, going down. And then, so now we know that we have, short-term memory loss here. This is 8 1/4, so now it's 8, so now we're going to score at the 4-inch line. So we're going to score right here. It's just going to be a little bit wider than the ones that Gi Kerr did. She did hers were basically a 3-inch pocket, 3 inches wide. So that's that. So let's go ahead and fold these over. So again, we're going to fold the little bit of the lip here, which is going to help us keep our pocket bigger. And then we're going to fold this as well. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, love this. Look at that beautiful watercolor, you guys. This is what I love about watercolor. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be kind of tall, isn't it? So we want to think about, do we want it to have a taller tag part and a lower pocket? Or do we still want it to be the same, you know, have just like a 3/4 inch bit there? So I'm going to ink this side as well, just like I did before, like so, just so that we have that line to go by. And I'm going to put her back down. I'm going to unfold that edge, and then we're going to go in. I'm going to go out here so I can get a good 3/4 inch line. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so I'm looking at the 3/4 inch. I struggle with scoring tools. So this is a 3/4 inch line, which means I can score at 8 here because I'm not to the edge there. I'm kind of doing it the hard way, I think, but. And then we're only scoring from this point to this side. So, and this is where it gets tricky for me because my eyes have a hard time following that line all the way. So I'm just going to use my ruler as a little cheat tool. Do whatever you need to do though, guys. So I'm going to score that there. Perfect. Okay, so we can set that aside again. I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to cut this off along that score line on the inside of the score line, like right there. And maybe we'll make one that's smaller than the typical one, maybe like a little one, maybe an itty bitty one, who knows. There we go. That's okay. A little rough edge there. So there we go. I like that taller bit there. On this one that I made off camera, my measurements were just funky in my mind, so that's why we have such a tall bit there. But so you can see, you can make them a little bit wider and a little bit taller. So that is 4 inches by 8 inches. So in my journals, my journal pages are usually 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. So this would totally work in a journal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my tag shapes here. And this time I'm going to cut this one first because I'm having trouble getting that edge for some reason. So we got that. We're going to turn it over and come over here and do this side. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Big old nails don't help me sometimes. So that is that. This time we're going to ink all this first because I didn't on the last one, and then I wasn't able to get around my paper clip. So let me do this and I'll be right back. I think I want to do the paper clip on the side of this one, which I did on those because I really like this coffee dyed paper and I don't really want to cover it up. For some reason we have an extra lip there. For some reason we cut that edge two in, so I'm going to just try to clip that because I think it looks weird. Still looks a little strange, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So this one we're going to put the paper clip on the side. I'm going to try to grab a straight paper clip here. There we go. So on this one, it's not going to matter what paper we use, but we're going to put the paper clip on the side of the tag pocket. And again, on this one, I think I will go ahead and push it all the way in and not put anything hanging out of it. Totally could. In fact, let's do that on this one because this is our autumn journal, which is going to be our prize giveaway. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to try to get it sort of centered. So let's see, we're 8 inches, so that's about 4 inches, so that's good. And then I'm going to do that, and then let's see, I need a piece that will cover that. That's not quite big enough, but do we have another piece? We do not. Oh no. Oh no. We're going to sacrifice this, I think, to get that. Oh, is this one big enough? This one's big enough, and that way I don't have to cut into that pretty piece of paper. And this is not going to show, other than I did notice on my prototypes this edge showed. That's the edge to the outside. So we're going to go ahead and glue this on. So I'm going to go ahead and make some pencil lines just so I know where my glue lines need to be. So I'm going to do, whoops, here, and here, and here. It doesn't have to be precise, just a general marking. And then my Fabri-Tac, I've got a baby wipe in there just so that it doesn't, when I turn the bottle over and set it in there, my bottle doesn't stick to the glue. It's a little bit better. There we go. So glue that up. Go. So you can see that doesn't really show. Okay, so now let's go ahead and disguise the back of our paper clip. We put the short side on that side, which I don't normally do, but I think we'll use this bright flower piece. So it is just long enough. We got a little bit of white showing. I'll trim that off. And so again, we're going to just tuck this behind here. And we're being very careful again because that Fabri-Tac is wet. And we're just going to fold that over. It almost feels like that's too far over. Let me just scooch it a bit. And then fold it again. Come on, Cara-Renee. There we go. And again, just use that edge to crease it. Like so. We're going to slide her back off and trim that off. And we're going to go ahead and ink this up. And again, the back isn't going to show where that seam is, so I've been inking it. It's like, what's the point? Doesn't matter. Not going to show. So there we go. Grab my paper towel. Okay, so now we're going to slide this back on. It's a beautiful part of the paper, isn't it? It's a little infringing on that bird space, but that's okay. There we go. So there is our second one. So we're going to just glue this really quick, and then I'm going to move on to two more of these. And I'll just turn on the music. I might pop back on at the very end and say goodbye, and I'll add anything that I need to add. And please do check out the photos at the end. I do post a lot of close-up photos at the end of the video, as well as over on my blog. And the link to the blog can be found in the description box. I post things over to the blog because that's where I put all the beautiful, beautiful, detailed close-up photos of my work. So you can check that out. And again, the link is in the video. I don't put the supplies in the video description. I put them over on my blog. So there we go. So beautiful. And I just love that. I love that coffee dye on the top. So we're going to go ahead and turn the music on and let you watch the next bit.
am definitely going to make a template for my tags. That's just a hassle and a half. Oh my goodness. So we're going to go ahead and cut an even thumb notch, because this time I'm not going to account for that edge. I made that other one so crooked. Goodness. So we're about there. Much better. I'm going to go ahead and ink this baby up. Okay, we're just finishing up this one, and we're going to do one more on camera. That's a larger one that you just saw me cut, and we're going to make it the same size as the other large one, which was 8 1/4 by 8 is the piece of paper size. So, and I'm going to go ahead and just do this off camera. You guys have seen me do it enough. We're going to just go ahead and glue this shut. The reason why I did the coffee dyed paper like that is because I just like the look of it, so I didn't necessarily need to see that print again, even though it's very pretty. I really like the coffee dyed paper. This is actually, I think, a tea dyed paper, and I just love the yellow in it. It's really, really beautiful. We got all wonky here. That's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So there is another one. So here is our last one, ladies and gentlemen. So this one, again, as I mentioned, should be 8 1/4. 8 1/4 inches wide. Oh, no, that one's 8. Oh, I did it backwards. Shoot. I did it, the width is wrong, so goodness gracious. So this is going to have to be, oh, doggone it. Okay. Don't really want that. So we are going to go back. We're going to cut this down to 7 1/2. Sorry, guys. Ugh. My brain some days. I'm going to cut this to 7 1/2 on here. So, because then I know the other dimension will be 7 1/4. It's okay to make mistakes, guys. So that is now 7 1/2. So then we want this to be 7 1/4. So I want to take it off the bottom, I think. So let's see how much it takes off. Oh, that's taking off all the blue. So let's just take off a sliver of the blue on this end. And then we're going to do the other end and get the rest of it. We might lose a lot of it. We're going to lose most of it. That's okay. So 7 1/4. It's all right. We live and learn, right? I don't worry about it, you guys. So for those of you who like write things down and take your measurements, that's great. You know, I mean, kudos to you for doing that. But I personally don't, I don't care about that detail, and I like to be free in my art, and freedom means not stressing out about things that I don't need to stress out about. So that's just my motto. You guys definitely, you know, do you. I'm going to churn this because I'm having trouble finding my 1/4 inch mark. Oh my goodness, it's a work night. Did I mention that? It's a work night. So we're just going to go, and you could go wider. I'm finding that this strip, this fold over bit is a little bit small. So you could definitely just adjust your measurements to allow for more there. So we don't need to do that yet. So let's turn that back over. We're going to go in 3. Okay, so this is now goodness gracious, this is now 7 1/4. So we need to figure out what half of 7 1/4 is. Hold on. This is what calculators are for. 7 1/4. Hold on. Bear with me. 7.25. Whoops. 7.25 divided by 2 is 3.62. Oh, that's not going to be exact. Okay, I'm just going to fold it because I'm not going to get an exact measurement. So we're going to go ahead and fold this over. So again, you don't have to measure. You could just totally like fold this quarter bit over. This 1/4 of an inch. It's not straight at all. And again, that's partly because I'm using 65-pound paper. And that doesn't look like a 1/4 inch. But again, you guys, you can do this however you choose. Okay? So now I'm just going to fold this, and I'm going to give it a light crease. So you don't have to do all the measuring. Don't stress yourself out about the measuring. So I'm just going to give that a crease. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and ink that so I know where that line is. And then we can score it officially. Okay? So, do you. You do you. Do what you're comfortable with. Do what brings you joy. If numbers don't bring you joy, if measuring doesn't bring you joy, don't measure. Just have a good time. It all works out in the end. Okay? So I'm going to just try to line this up though so that we have all of our edges are straight. Sorry, I'm a little off camera, guys. Like so. So that worked out just as well without that extra score, and I love this twilight on the lake. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Okay, so now we need to do our last scoring, and then we will be ready to put the paper clip on and be done. So we want to score. I'm going to open this up again, and I'm going to find a line that feels comfortable to me. And I'm going to go in to 3/4 of an inch. Where's 3/4? And my eyes are not great either, you guys, so I can't get super close to this. So there's a 3/4 line. So I know I can go to 8 here. And we're going to go, we're going to get our ruler. Again, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel confident and successful. Numbers have never been my thing. When I was in junior high school, I went to private school, and when nobody could teach me algebra, they just gave me another Bible class. They just said, she doesn't need algebra, which is not true. Not true at all. So I've never been good at math. It's always been my weakness. So there we go. So we're just going to cut that edge. There we go. And voila. Gorgeousness. Oh, I love this one. Love that image. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut our little corners. This time I'm just going to estimate. I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, I probably need to worry about it. Do I make your head spin? I make my own head spin sometimes. It's just so hard to get a hold of this. I'm going to make some templates though, because this is just too fussy for me. You just take some heavy cardstock or some chipboard or something and make yourself varying slants of tag corners, and then you've got it going on. So there we go. That's okay. So we're going to go ahead and ink. I'll be back with you in a second. We are ready for a paper clip. Let's find another straightish one. That's not straight. There we go. So maybe we'll use some of the eggs. I think these eggs are really pretty, except they're going the wrong direction now. That won't work. That will not work. Do we have any more scraps here? We should have more than this scrap, I would think. Do we want to do this one out the side? So we did 2 at the top and 2. Yep, let's do this one out the side as well. That way we don't have to worry about
the paper that we use. I can actually use something else here that won't waste all my pretty paper. So that's that. So we're going to go ahead and put our paper clip in the side here. Yeah, in the side. And I suppose you could have reversed this and had it on the other side. It had your fold on this side, but this is just what I was doing. So I'm going to put the long part again on the back, and we're going to go ahead and glue. I'm just going to put the glue on here. It's probably easier all the way around after I ink this edge, because it will show, or it does show a little bit. And I'm going to put a bunch of Fabri-Tac on my paper clip and around it, and then the rest I'm going to put on the paper, because then I don't have to think about the glue line. Easy peasy. There we go. Oh, that was the wrong side. Okay, it's not going to show, so let me ink that edge really quick though. Goodness gracious, I need to be done, clearly. But that paper's not going to show anyway, so it's all right. I'm just going to stick that on there and give it a good press. Get my paper towel. I'm just hoping that this will not impede a pocket. I mean, anything going into the pocket. I'm thinking that it's going to be pretty well glued and is not going to be a problem. So again, on this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'll glue it shut and put the cover over the paper clip off camera. So these are the ones we did on camera. Just a quick preview or redo here. Review that and that, that and that. And then the ones from off camera that I did was this one, this one, this one, this one. So there we go. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. I hope that it was helpful and you learned something and you'll give it a try. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.